go.
All right, there we go. Thanks, Nikki. Take it away.
Yay. All right, hello everyone. This is the second session today, so hopefully I will not lose my voice. What I wanted to talk to everyone today about was a little bit about our new SharePoint platform that we're using for our new staff intranet for United Way of Greater Cleveland, for United Way of Geauga County, and for United Way of Medina County, as well as a new option for cloud-based file storage to replace all of the internal servers that have mounted file storage, the O drive, the N drive, the R drive, and so forth, some of those things that people who are in the offices use very frequently. So I wanted to take everybody on a little guided tour, show you a little bit of the navigation around the new UW Connect website, get you familiar with some of the options that are there and some of the things that you can do currently and then what's coming soon, and then get everybody ready to talk about document libraries in an upcoming training that we're going to have in January, February timeframe, yet to be scheduled. So as long as you have an internet connection, you will be able to access the United Way of Greater Cleveland staff intranet, UW Connect. You don't have to be VPN'd in, you don't have to be local at one of the offices. All you need is an internet connection because this is housed in Microsoft Cloud. What you use to access the UW Connect staff intranet is your United Way of Greater Cleveland email as your password, or excuse me, as your login, and your network password that you use to get into your email or you use to log into your computer. That password is what will get you into UW Connect. So I have a saved link on my system for the UW Connect staff intranet. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and because I've been in before, it remembers who I am. All I have to do is pick the account that I want to use to log in. If you haven't logged in to the web-based version of Microsoft Office yet, then you would be asked to enter your password. I'm just going to click, and it takes me right in with a little screen delay, for which I apologize. Now, the UW Connect staff intranet is not just one website. It's actually a group of 34 different websites that all work together and are built one on the other, all hierarchically. They look sort of like an org chart when you actually look at the map of them. But the very topmost site, the homepage, is what we're looking at now. And this is a common area that everyone in the organization, everybody who has a United Way of Greater Cleveland login is able to access. Every page in the entire UW Connect system has a logo at the top corner. If you click on that logo, it will take you to the home page from wherever you are. So that's your quick and easy out. There are two different types of navigation that you see at the top. The blue band that is sort of like a checkerboard with the icons on top. On the home page, this offers you quick access to things that people use very, very frequently. It's a way to do it super quick as soon as you log in. You can also get to all of those same functionalities from the darker blue menu bar directly beneath it. Each of the menu bar items has a menu that pops out, and we'll take a walking tour of that in just a second. Let's take a look first at what other things you can see on the home page of the staff intranet. The staff intranet, as I mentioned before, is a site for communication with staff and between staff members, and a place for collaboration. So everybody can share files, work on documents, and so forth together. It's sort of a two-pronged solution to make sure we can collaborate better as a team. On the home page, you are able to see on the right-hand side, on the right-hand side, there is a list of upcoming events that affect all staff. And in this case, those happen to be the holidays, the days when the office is closed coming up for Christmas and Christmas Day, for New Year's Day, and for MLK Day. Last week, you would have seen things for other meetings that were taking place in the Cleveland office. You would have seen things for staff Christmas parties and so forth. But just because of the time of year we're at now, the only thing we have to do is work and take the days off. So all of these upcoming events here will affect staff, and they'll change throughout the year. Below that list of items is a calendar that is actually a conglomeration of 6 different calendars throughout the different sites. It's a rolled up calendar that pretty much gives you a good picture of everything that's going on in all 3 offices for United Way. It's a little calendar, it's all color coded, but if you want to see the details, you want it to be a little bigger for your old eyes. I know I have old eyes. All you need to do is click on upcoming events, the title at the top of that section of calendar information, and it will open a larger format of that same calendar for you. This calendar is made up of 9 different calendars. Hey, there you go. It includes in yellow the Geauga calendar, in orange the Medina calendar, in sort of that cornflower blue color, the Cleveland office's regional initiatives calendar, CI calendar, and resource development calendar. They all share the same color. In red, you'll see all of the board and board subcommittee activities that are planned, usually meetings. And if you note on the calendar, we had one of those board of directors meetings here in Cleveland today. In teal blue, when there are all staff learning and development training sessions scheduled, those will show up in teal blue. And for anybody who needs to submit expense reports, all of the expense deadlines, the day that you need to file your reports and the day that you would be reimbursed, are all shown in aqua. Now, if you wanted to see just one of these calendars, over at the far left-hand side is a list of the calendars by name. If you just wanted to see one, all you need to do is click on it, click on the name, and it'll take you just to the events for that calendar. Okay? All right. I'm going to go back to the home page by clicking on the logo. And let's take a look at some of the news that shows up. Oops, there we go. At the very top of the page, there's a slideshow that'll show you several of the stories and announcements that have most recently been posted. It's sort of a slow news season, so what we've got showing right now are the fact that there are Night at the Cavs tickets on sale. We've raised just over $64,000 in our United Way internal campaign as a staff, and the Let's Talk Trash team that's working to clean out the Cleveland offices and get rid of junk and old papers and so forth in preparation for the building renovation. That announcement is there as well. The announcements that go up are time sensitive. So for a while, things that are new will be in the slideshow at the top. And then as more things are added, they'll trickle down to 2 additional news areas. Underneath the little orange logos, there are several additional news stories that are of importance. For example, training that's coming soon on Degreed for UW Connect. So if you are not able to see all this training that I'm doing now, or you want to repeat it again, you'll have a recorded resource to learn more. Information, say, on tax cuts and the Jobs Act resources from finance, as well as some information from marketing about United Way's new brand standards. Now, all of the news articles that are posted are available in the section on the left at the bottom that says latest news. Each story is available. You can scroll through them, and they're all tagged saying which office they apply to, Cleveland, Geauga, or Medina. Things that are tagged with red are must-read things, usually procedural, or in the case here, the summary of the annual report for our insurance plan that HR just posted. That's one of those must-reads. All of the news items are available by clicking into latest news. You can also look at media and see recent press coverage of United Way. There's also the titles for each of these entries here are a link to whatever news website had the information. So you can go straight to cleveland.com or the Geauga papers or whatnot to read articles covering the work that we're doing. There's also a tab under latest news for the blog, and this is the United Way Worldwide blog that shows us all the news coming out of their area. And it takes a second to print or to come through. Unless they have not posted anything in the last week, which is also possible. In the center of the home page is a section called the Employee Spotlight, because employees are at the heart of our organization. Whenever we hire someone new, whenever somebody is being recognized for a promotion or outstanding service, there will be an employee spotlight added by the HR department. You can scroll through, see people's pictures, see the biographies, and at any given time, there are 3, 4, 5, 6 of these, depending on how many new people we have. So today, everybody being highlighted happens to be a 211 staff member. Georgia. Okay. At the bottom is our latest video featuring, in this case, a mental health stigma case study. But it's a quick way to preview as a staff member what we're putting out there for the public to look at. And there's also at the bottom a set of frequently used resources. You don't even have to search for things like expense reports, our nonprofit status vouchers, and tax forms. They're all just right there, easy to grab and easy to use. At the very bottom of every page on the staff intranet, there's also an information bar. It includes contact information, including the street address and common phone number for each of our 3 offices, the websites that we currently maintain for United Way of Greater Cleveland, for Geauga, for Medina, for 211, and for United Way Worldwide. In addition, there are links to all of the social media from each of the 3 offices and from Worldwide. So if you like to keep up with what's going on, it's easy to do without having to bookmark these all separately. All you have to do is click on the icon. For example, if I wanted to see the United Way of Greater Cleveland Facebook page, all I need to do is hit the button, and there it is. At the very bottom of the footer on every page, there's also our suggestion box. If you're an employee who's been here for over a year, you might have remembered when this was introduced. Can you hear me now? In order to submit an anonymous suggestion, ask a question of the CEO, or to give kudos to a fellow staff member, all you need to do is click and you get a little pop-up. The little pop-up allows you to select a category, ask Augie, make a suggestion, or give kudos, and then all you need to do is type. Your suggestion goes on to the executive office and to HR for review, and it is completely anonymous. So if you need to stuff the suggestion box, here's the way to do it quickly and easily online.
We're all behind, Nikki, we're all behind you on that suggestion.
Okay. Up at the very top, let's go take a look at some of the other functionalities that live in the staff intranet in SharePoint, but not on the home page. One of those 33 other subsites that exist. One of the areas that is under construction is what we stand for. This is an area that our marketing team is working hard on right now, and as soon as they have launched their new main website for the United Way of Greater Cleveland, their attention's going here. This section will include information on who we are as United Way, our mission, our objectives, our goals, our strategic plan, and all of our strategic plan reporting, as well as information about what it means to be a staff member and a brand ambassador. So you can look for this section to be really cool, really glossy, and have a whole lot of very interesting and very useful information. That's coming in January and February. Just as a sneak peek, I'll show you one of the other areas of the staff intranet, and that's the strategic plan reporting page. I think everybody's heard that we have a 3-year strategic plan, and every quarter, all of the departments need to update their KPIs and all of the various, hello, what happened to you? Oh, something is very wrong with my integration today. This was here this morning. Okay. There it is. Yay. Real slow. All right. This is actually the reporting dashboard that's used for the strategic plan by members of each department to report on how everyone's tasks are going, how the KPIs are going, and so forth. Again, this is just one of the things that we've implemented in SharePoint. We run back to the home page. I mentioned that across the top are things people use frequently every day. One of those things is a document library for policies and procedures. We're starting a project now to make our policies and procedures library much more robust and to capture things that haven't been captured yet. Everything that you see now in this library is things that have been converted from the old policy text system. SharePoint replaces this, and we'll very shortly have additional training that will help us complete all of these policies and procedures, get them approved by supervisors and leadership, and published so they're available for everyone. Very, very convenient and centralized. The policies and procedures area is a document library. There are document libraries throughout the SharePoint system, each one used for different things. Each department has several document libraries for their own use. One that they can use to share things with their fellow staff members, one that they can use to just work internally as a departmental or an office-based team, and one that is used just by that department's management. In addition, there are multiple document libraries all over the place for other special needs. Policies and procedures is one, as an example, and the marketing brand strategy library that has all of their digital assets for everyone to use, like Word templates, PowerPoint templates, and so forth. All of those are document libraries as well. One of the most in-demand items that staff wanted from a staff intranet was a staff directory. Our staff directory is tied directly into the system that is used to control access to United Way of Greater Cleveland's network. If you have a login, you have an entry in this staff directory. The staff information is maintained through a partnership between IT and HR, but staff members are able to add additional information to make their profiles more interesting. Those include pictures, like Georgia has her picture up already. And if I look for myself, I have a lot of stuff in mind because I did it for testing. So you can see I've put a much fuller biography up there that includes projects I've worked on, skills, interests, where I went to school, and so forth. Eventually, when all staff members have had a chance to work on their profile, this will be a great tool for matching faces with names, learning who people are that you work with every day but only talk with on the phone because they're in another office or in another location. It's going to be a great tool, and it's always up to date with the latest email, phone number, job title, and so forth. We hope this section will be very, very useful to everyone. You may want to ask a question of our HR department. You can do that easily just by clicking on the Ask HR icon. This form asks for your name so that the HR team can follow up with you and ask you to select a category. I have a question about a grievance. I have a question that's general about HR. I have a question that is a leave request for FMLA. Any of those types of questions you can ask through this form. It'll go into a database for the HR team to process. This lets them keep track of everyone's requests so that nothing gets lost. Easy form to fill out. Rooms and reservations is part of the system that will allow us to make sure that our conference rooms are tracked properly and associated with various meetings with no conflicts. That system right now is being transitioned from the old EventPro system, and we've just about got everything ready so we can start using it. There will be a little bit of additional training for staff that works with rooms and reservations all around that system. I also mentioned the drop-down menu that shows you navigation from area to area within the staff intranet. The My Resources section gives you a quick and easy access so you don't have to remember links to a lot of the things that you use as an employee, including UltiPro, Medical Mutual, your health savings account logins, Mass Mutual, the Employee Assistance Program, as well as two separate sites for employee resources and emergency and crisis resource centers. This is our safety section. And it includes what to do in the event of an emergency at one of the offices, who our trained first aid and CPR first responders are, and all of the various policies and procedures dealing with issues at the offices. Everything from power outages to a parking garage flooding. All of that information is right there at your fingertips. Under the tools section are quick and easy forms and links to outside websites that people use often, including that rooms and reservations calendar, learning pathways in the Degreed system, the brand digital asset library that I mentioned that marketing offers, the Staples Business Advantage ordering site for those who need office supplies, and a regional news feed that includes RSS feeds from several different news sites, so it's easy to scan the headlines for information about United Way. The section for our organization includes that what we stand for section that I talked about very briefly, as well as access to our staff directory, our workplace campaign, a list of the gatekeepers for each department and office, and the 211 gatekeepers are Tim Grialis and Mike Quigley. They'll help you if you ever need anything posted up onto the homepage, or if you need help using SharePoint, they're your go-to resources right in your department. There are also links to our regional offices and to each department. The 211 Help Link department page is where everyone in the organization can go to learn more about 211. It includes quick access to an org chart, your own policies and procedures, an alphabetical listing of everyone in the department, as well as frequently asked questions about 211. And that's the end of my time. Please know that there is more training coming, including a lot of information on how to use document libraries and some of the more detailed functionality for requests and for approvals. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Nikki. We all appreciate it. And if anybody ends up thinking of some questions for her at a later time, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll make sure that she gets the question. And then we'll address it at a future training, because I'm sure if one person has a question, that there's probably at least one other person that's thinking of that same question. So we want to make sure everybody's well informed. So thank you so much, Nikki. I'm going to go ahead and take the controls back from you here. Okay. So, oops. Oh, come on. I don't know what I just did. I clicked on something that blew this up. All right, there we go. All right, so the burning question that is on everybody's mind, I had some folks reach out through the SurveyMonkey that I sent out, and some folks that have reached out face-to-face or over email, wanting to know what's going on with Diane. We know that everybody's really concerned about her. However, the management team does not have any more information than any of the rest of you. Human Resources has asked us to please respect her privacy. That's a private matter, and as soon as we have more to report, we will let you all know. All right. I thought this webinar was supposed to be about taxes. Well, yes, it was supposed to be about taxes. However, we're still working on nailing down some important updates to our process, and we're just not prepared to present on taxes just yet. There will be some training coming soon, so look forward to members of the management team reaching out to you within the coming weeks. I wanted to do a staffing update. We have hired a whole heck of a lot of people since our last webinar. So I wanted to give a shout out to all our newbies. On the AHC crew, we've got Scott, Andrea, Ivan, Mai, Georgia, Aisha, and Cassie. And then for 211, we have Sam, Melinda, Carrie Ann, and Shonda. So welcome to all our new hires. We're happy to have you here. We are in the process of hiring 4 more part-time 211 staff members, 3 part-time overnights and a part-time day flex. Management has a nice applicant pool right now. They will be making some final selections and some offers very, very soon. So look forward to some more new staff members coming in January. Currently, we are fully staffed, finally, for AHC. However, we are going to keep a posting up at the United Way website, unitedwaycleveland.org, so that we have a pool of applicants available for when we come to the point where we're ready to hire again. All right. I wanted to congratulate all of our new CIRS and CRS certification holders. So over the course of 2018, we've had 18 new certifications. Hooray! We still are awaiting a couple results on a couple of folks that just took their exams over the last couple days, so potentially more than 18. Due to the busy season being upon us, I'm not going to be scheduling any new exams until the spring. Currently, we have 9 staff members who have a CRS, 27 who have a CIRS, and then 2 staff who have a CIRS AD. So the AD is for those with a specialty in aging and disability. I had a few folks express some interest in getting that additional designation, and that'll be something that we can look into probably the second half of next year. I do want to make sure that everybody who is eligible to sit for the CIRS exam is able to do so before we start moving over into getting folks with that additional AD credential. So I'll let you all know once we get to a point when when we can start talking about that and see who might be interested. All right, I've got a Summit County update for everybody. So the Summit County 211 has a new funding source that requires that they track if there are minor children in the home and the income level of the household. This is only for Summit County. This will not include Lorain County calls. Answers may be inferred based on what the caller says and programs that they are either they're currently on or that they appear to be eligible for. And just a reminder, if you need it, they do have a poverty level calculator in their contact markers. So as of right now today, these are not required fields, but they are going to be starting tomorrow. So they're waiting for us to have each of these webinars, and then they will implement that being a required field at some point tomorrow. So here's just a screenshot of what it's going to look like. So in the contact data, you'll see minor children in the home, yes, no, or unknown, and household income. It's based on percentage of poverty level, and if you're unable to determine where they might land in that percentage of poverty, they do have a poverty level calculator here in the contact markers that you can use to help determine that if necessary. All right. So I got a few responses on the SurveyMonkey that I sent out last week about potentially some questions that that people had that would like to be addressed during today's webinar. And the first question that someone asked was, what is the best time during the conversation to ask callers if they need assistance with MedRefer? So the answer, it really depends on the nature of the call. If the caller brings up any sort of health-related need, then that's the right time to ask if they need any sort of assistance with prescriptions. It's topical. It makes sense to ask at that point. If the caller has an unmet need, particularly if it's if it's in regard to any kind of financial assistance, then that would be a good opportunity to bring up the MedRefer question. So perhaps you've got somebody that needs rent assistance and you are finding that there's not anything that they're eligible for in the database. This would be a good opportunity to introduce the MedRefer question, because perhaps if they are taking medications, perhaps we can help save some money that way that could potentially be used towards getting caught up on their rent. Now, if neither of those situations apply, then the best place, I think, to ask would be after providing the caller with the referrals you're giving, but before you move into the closing part of the call. Okay, so the next question was, am I required to ask about vets and MedRefer with every phone call that I take? So for example, if the caller is only asking for a phone number or for food pantries or a hot meal. And the answer is, if the access site that you have opened up for the transaction has the question in the contact markers, then you are required to ask it. The only exception would be if it's a crisis call. So if somebody's suicidal, I'm not going to ask them if they need help with prescriptions. I'm going to do a little bit of de-escalation and then do that elegant, warm transfer through to the appropriate crisis hotline. Okay. And don't forget that that veteran question is embedded right into our script. So sometimes there are additional services available for veterans. Is anyone in the household a veteran or active military? And the main reason that we're asking this question is so that we can locate additional help for our callers. So we're not just asking that question just to tally the number of veterans who call. It's really the prime reason that we're asking is so that we can find some additional help for them if they or if someone in their home is a veteran or active military. All right. So the next question, what do we do about someone who does not have any identification? No birth certificate, no social security card, no photo ID, no passport, and no DD-214. So the answer on this one is also, it depends. So if their ability to pay for documents is not an issue, then they would start with getting the birth certificate because they won't need to provide ID or social security card there. Then once they have the birth certificate, they can use that plus some other additional documents in order to get a replacement social security card. And then they would be able to use the birth certificate and the social security card to obtain their photo ID. So birth certificate, then social security card, then photo ID. Now, where there may be, where you may run into some difficulty on this is if the caller's not able to pay for a birth certificate. Here's where it gets a little tricky, because most of the programs that provide birth certificate fee payment assistance require some sort of proof of social security number. So if the caller is not able to provide adequate proof of social security number, what you would want to do is first save that as an unmet need for birth certificate fee payment assistance, with the reason being they are ineligible due to lacking necessary documentation. And then from there, you should send a transmittal explaining the circumstances surrounding that need. So for example, somebody lost all of their documents in a fire. The resource team may be able to advocate in this situation. So they can attempt to call the birth certificate fee payment assistance program or programs in their area and see if they are willing or able to make any sort of exception for somebody who has extenuating circumstances. From there, you're going to save a follow-up in refer. And once the research department gets back to you, then you will be the one following up with that caller and letting them know what the results are. So, you know, we can't definitely guarantee that an agency is going to be willing to help. The best that we can do is reach out and do a little advocacy, see if there's something that, see if one of those birth certificate fee payment assistance programs is willing to make some sort of exception or accept some other sort of documentation as to proof of who this person is, and then reach back out to that person and let them know what the results of that is. Okay, does that all make sense?
Quick question. With this particular one, with the birth certificate, when you take a look at what they want for Social Security, they're talking about,
hey, Dave, Dave, it's really hard to hear you.
Okay, let me move this a little better.
Okay, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay. For Social Security card, they're typically saying a photo ID is mandatory for an original or replacement card. So I guess I'm concerned on this one that a birth certificate may not be sufficient for them to be able to get a Social Security card.
No, birth certificate, you're right. The birth certificate just alone is not going to be enough to get the Social Security card. But there are a combination of documents that people can bring in as proof of who they are. And Louise, a while back, took great pains in entering into refer all of the potential options of combinations of documents that people can bring in. So it's detailed out. It's detailed out in the database. It doesn't necessarily have to be a state ID, but there are other alternatives that they would accept. It's just it would have to be in conjunction with multiple documents.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any other questions about this? I know this comes up a lot, especially with our more transient clients. So just wanted to make sure. I thought this was a good question. So thanks to whoever submitted it. All right. So moving right along. Just wanted to go over a few more things. This is specifically for our folks that work on site in Cleveland. Just a reminder, Karen sent us all out an email on the 4th of this month about us moving to a temporary space within the building while they prepare to renovate the 3rd floor. So we all need to make sure that we clean out our desk areas. We are not going to have a whole heck of a lot of space when we move. So please, like, pare down all the tchotchkes, any papers that you're not currently, that aren't currently vital to your work, please dispose of them. Basically, you're going to have to downsize to what you can fit into one box. So please start moving, getting rid of stuff, taking stuff home, throwing it out. We do have a big bin available. However, unfortunately, at this point, a lot of people have been using, well, actually more, I should say, fortunately, that a lot of people have utilized it. So it's pretty full at this point, but please continue to get rid of things that are not essential for your job.
Molly, question?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi. So there's a chance we may not be coming back to the 3rd floor eventually, or will that be here for us?
No, there is a very good chance we will not be coming back to the 3rd floor. I believe, as far as I'm aware, we will be moving to the first. The plan at this time is that we'll be moving to a space on the 1st floor. So we're not coming back. So anything that you don't need, that's not vital to do your job, basically that just get rid of it, either throw it out or take it home, because we'll each have like one box to carry our belongings to our new space. So
thanks.
yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Moving right along. I just wanted to also remind everybody the deadline to RSVP for the 211 holiday get-together is today. So if you're planning on going, please respond to the calendar invite that Karen sent out so that she's able to make appropriate arrangements for all of us. And then that's it. Happy holidays from our cat, Misha Black. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that they want to add? Anybody have any suggestions for next year's training schedule? I did get a few responses from the Survey Monkey that I sent out. So I'll be taking a look at that with the management team. But if anybody at this point has anything additional that they'd like to add, speak now.
Oh, question, Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just going back to Diane, do you know how much time that she was going to be taking off? Do you know how long that'll last for her?
I really don't know. They initially, when we were notified of her leave, they had given a date, and then it went past that date, and we were told by HR that she extended it. Right now, at one point, Diane's automatic reply on her email was giving a return date, but as of a few days ago, that date was off there, so it was just really left ambiguous of, I'll be out of the office, and there's no date on that reply. So, I feel really bad. I just wanted to communicate with everybody that, we're, we don't have any more information than anybody else, and we're all concerned about her as well, and we want her to be well, but also, it was her wish to keep her situation private, and so because of that, we've been respecting her privacy. And
thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions or anything to add?
I got a good one for you, Molly, if it's okay.
Oh,
it's
sure.
Barry.
Oh, hi, Barry.
Hey, I think I already know the answer to this, but I thought I'd ask anyway. When we get the emails from, I think it comes from HR for the degree courses that we're, quote unquote, being asked to take, two questions, and I think I already know the answers to both of these, but you know me. Okay, first of all, we can't do that on work time, correct? We're supposed to, again, theoretically do them on our own time, correct?
That is correct. However, when you view them, you want to make sure you clock in and out of Kronos, because we don't want you taking it during the time you're supposed to be taking calls, but we want you to get paid for it. So just whenever you're going to move forward and take those, just make sure you're clocking in and out so you get paid. And I think for the supervisors, it would be helpful for you to notate that on your timesheet, that like, I clocked in for an hour and watched such and such video that's required from Degree, just so that they know and they approve your timesheet properly.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, and that was because I wasn't sure if we got paid or not. And the second question was, obviously, what are the ramifications if we don't, if any?
I have no idea.
Thank you. Well, that's fair enough. Thank you.
I'm not certain if you want to follow up with by sending an email to 211 supervisor. Perhaps one of the supervisors can let you know either that, or they will forward that on to HR. But I honestly don't know the answer.
Understood. Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay. All right. Actually, that leads me to one more thing. I think it's important to mention at this point too, about emailing to 211 supervisors. So just so you're all aware, Helen is now receiving those 211 supervisor emails as well. So just an FYI. So she is seeing those now in Diane's absence. So. Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns? I know Barry had a question earlier, but we're gonna not answer that. All right. Well. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and then end here. And just please make sure that if you are scheduled to be on the phones, please get back on the phones promptly. We do want to keep the queue down. It gets a little difficult on webinar days when we're slacking in the afternoon and then move into the even when we're on a bare bones evening shift and the queue's really backed up. So please, if you're scheduled to be on the phones, get back on. And then if I don't talk to some of you, I may not talk to before the holidays. So have happy holidays, and we'll keep in touch and talk to you soon.